In the movie, an ancient hymn getting into the wrong hands can cause a demonic uprising. For centuries, occultists have pursued this unlimited power, but even an innocent wish for happiness can be corrupted. This is what our protagonist, Brodie, reveals in the beginning because he witnessed it firsthand. Brodie, a Metalhead high school student, lives with his uncle Albert, Aunt Mary, and cousin David in Grey Point after his mom gets institutionalized. His uncle is a devout Christian who's concerned about the music Brodie listens to. In school, Brodie sees David and his friends harassing Dion. Brodie tells David to stop, and the bullies leave. Then Brodie helps Dion up to his feet. Brodie sees a beautiful blonde girl walk by. Dion says her name is Medina, and she's dating David. A few seconds later, Dion asks Brodie if he wants to do something cool at lunchtime. During lunchtime, Brodie realizes that what Dion considers cool is playing Dungeons & Dragons with his fellow nerd, Giles. While Dion and Giles argue about the gameplay, Brodie puts on his headphones and imagines himself playing a guitar solo atop a mountain with Medina beside him. His daydream is interrupted by David and his friends spraying the three of them with urine. Later in math class, Brodie is caught doodling by the teacher, who tears off a page from the notebook where Brodie drew an offensive caricature of him. The teacher throws the crumpled paper in the wastebasket. After school, David waits for Medina in his car. He sees Brodie and promises to make his life miserable. Medina doesn't like how David bullies other people. On his way home, Brodie stops by the record store owned by Byron and his psychic girlfriend Abigail. Byron shows Brodie a rare Haxan sword record numbered in blood by Ricky Daggers himself. He points Brodie to the metal selection, where Brodie sees another metalhead browsing. Abigail sees a skull in her teacup and looks up with a scared look on her face. Brodie goes to the metal vinyl section and introduces himself to Zach. They get along swimmingly because Brodie likes Zach's chaotic energy. He asks Brodie if he wants to do something crazy, so they make a blood pact, cook up napalm, and burn the words "Hail Satan" in the park grass. Days later, the three friends and Zach form a band called Deathgasm. Later that day, Zach takes Brodie to a rundown house and tells him to be the lookout while he rummages. Brodie doesn't want to wait outside, so he enters through an open window. Inside the house, Zach shows Brodie a Haxan sword poster and says that Ricky Daggers lost all his money on vices and demon worship and was last seen in a small town in New Zealand. Brodie realizes they're in Ricky Daggers' house. They continue exploring and see a studio with old amplifiers. They see Ricky sleeping on a mattress, holding onto a record. Zach takes the record, but Ricky wakes up and swings at them with a baseball bat. He thinks they're occultists sent by Aeon. Brodie tells him they're just fans who found him because of the latest issue of Death Scream. Ricky screams obscenities and tells them that they're all doomed. Outside Ricky's house, a car pulls up, and Vaden puts on gloves and opens a straight razor. Inside the house, they hear Vaden coming. Ricky hands them the record and tells them to guard it with their lives. Brodie and Zach jump out the window and leave. Vaden enters the room and asks Ricky where it is. Ricky swings at Vaden with the bat, but he grabs it and hits Ricky. He asks Ricky who he was just talking to, and when Ricky refuses to answer, he slices the rockstar's throat. Later in Zach's house, Brodie picks up folded up papers that fell from the record sleeve, and the lights flicker. The pages are very old sheet music written in Latin, and Zach suggests they turn it into a Deathgasm song. In the occultist's headquarters, Vaden tells Aeon that he found Ricky but was unable to obtain the pages or the black hymn. He begs Aeon to give him more time to search through Grey Point, but Aeon orders two occultists to behead him. Aeon tells his men they're heading to Grey Point. Later in the woods, the bandmates don black and white makeup and film a music video for their intestinal bungee jump song. After filming, they load up their instruments in the car outside a store. Brodie bumps into Medina, who asks him to join her for ice cream. A few minutes later, Brodie and Medina sit on a park bench eating their ice cream. Medina gives him the page the teacher tore off. She compliments his drawing and suggests he design a custom tattoo for her. They have a deep conversation about metal that turns into a tender moment when Medina expects a kiss. But Brodie is too shy. He lends her a metal CD with a relatively tame cover. In the parking lot, David sees the two of them, visibly jealous. A few hours later, Brodie shows Dion and Giles the ancient sheet music but lies about where he found it. They then take their places and start to play the black hymn. Uncle Albert hears it, knocks on the garage door, and tells them to stop. Brodie turns the volume up and continues to play. In the middle of the song, the band members fall into a trance. Outside the garage, the skies turn dark. Uncle Albert starts shaking and his face becomes sallow. At the record store, Abigail sees Aloth etched into her client's palm. Back in the garage, electricity sparks on Brodie's guitar. The song ends and they snap out of the trance. Outside, Uncle Albert wakes up from the trance and returns to the house. The next day, Medina listens to the CD Brodie lent her. She imagines herself singing atop a mountain while twirling an axe. Later in math class, Brodie translates the Latin words to summoning the King of Demons, a black hymn for gaining power and fortune. During the lunch break, David and his friend, Terry, ambush Brodie. They beat him up, rip his earring off, and tell him not to go near Medina ever again. While walking home, Medina sees Zach and asks if he's seen Brodie because he wasn't in class. She writes a note for Brodie to meet her in the park at 9 p.m. and asks Zach to give it to Brodie. Later, Brodie walks home with a swollen eye. That night in the park, Medina is surprised to see Zach. Zach lies and tells Medina that Brodie isn't interested in her. Medina is upset but thanks Zach for letting her know. He gives her his leather jacket and offers her a drink from his flask. In his bedroom, Brodie looks around at his belongings that David had vandalized. Back at the park, Medina and Zach are making out. In his bedroom, Brodie finds a torn picture of him and his mom. He looks at the black hymn and smiles menacingly. The next day at practice, Zach asks him about his eye, but Brodie says it won't matter soon. They play the black hymn, the lights flicker, and they fall into a trance. Inside the house, Uncle Albert starts vomiting vigorously. In the garage, electricity sparks across their instruments. The garage door opens and the speaker volume increases. The band members froth from the mouth but continue playing. All over town, people walk out of their houses and throw up vigorously onto the streets until red streams flow. Back in the garage, the four guys are convulsing and pass out on the ground. Moments later, the band members regain consciousness and wonder what happened. Brodie asks the others if he looks more powerful. Zach punches him in the stomach and he winces. Brodie thinks something went wrong because he doesn't feel powerful at all. The next day in school, a possessed Terry wearing heart sunglasses approaches Brodie in the bathroom. He tells Brodie the blind one is coming and will bring about immeasurable pain and suffering. Somehow, Brodie isn't bothered by Terry's appearance or voice. Later in math class, the teacher wears sunglasses and writes gibberish on the board. Red rivers spill from under his shorts, and Medina asks if he's okay. The teacher opens his mouth and vomits vigorously all over a student. That night, at Zach's dad's shop, Brodie tells Zach about what happened in math class and how Medina ignored him. They hear a noise and see Zach's dad banging his head on the garage door. He has a t-shirt covering his eyes like a blindfold, and Zach takes it off. His dad shields his eyes and turns away. When he turns back around, they see he's been possessed and clawed his eyes out. The demon snarls, bearing rows of sharp teeth. It holds an eyeball in each hand and says, "I can see you." It grabs Zach by the neck and pushes Brodie to the side. Brodie takes a grinder and uses it against the demon's arm until it lets Zach go. Brodie pushes the grinder onto the demon's face until it falls on its back. Zach releases a car engine hanging above the demon's head, smashing it. Brodie apologizes to Zach for not telling him he translated the sheet music and knew it was for summoning demons, causing his dad to become possessed. Brodie remembers Abigail is the psychic and tells Zach they should see her. In the drive to the record store, Brodie and Zach witness demon attacks across town. Outside Uncle Albert's house, Dion and Giles look for Brodie and Zach, but they aren't there. A demon sees them and Giles shoots it with a paintball gun. This doesn't bother the demon, so he loads it with Dion's dice and hits the demon on the forehead. The demon is still coming toward them, but Medina saves them by chopping it with an axe. When Brodie and Zach are in front of the record store, they see that the moon is red. Inside the store, they find Abigail on the floor. Beside her is an illustration of Aloth, king of the demons. They admit to playing the black hymn, and Abigail tells them humanity is doomed. Those possessed will destroy anything in their path to prepare for Aloth's ascension at 3 a.m. Aloth will fuse with the most corruptible human host nearby. Brodie asks Abigail how to stop it, but before she can answer, a hand punches through her chest. A possessed Byron pulls out Abigail's heart and takes a bite. Abigail gets possessed, so the two young men run out of the store. Back at Uncle Albert's house, Medina, Dion, and Giles plan to go to school. Dion leaves a note on the front door for Brodie. In a different part of town, Aeon arrives with his acolyte, or assistant, Shanna, and 3 masked cult members. They meet Terry, who tells them to destroy the Voca VK Rex Demonia before those that perform the Black Hymn can reverse it. The possessed cannot destroy the pages because only those with souls can touch them. Aeon agrees to destroy the pages only if he gets to be Aloth's vessel, but Shanna stabs him and pledges allegiance to Aloth. The demon tells her to find Brodie. On the way to Uncle Albert's house, Brodie suggests playing the song in reverse to reverse everything that's happened. However, Zach just wants to watch the town burn and doesn't care about anyone else. They get to the house and Zach reaches the front door first and pockets Dion's notes, hiding it from Brodie. Inside the house, Uncle Albert and Aunt Mary attack them. The two guys run to the couple's bedroom and search for weapons. They use the items inside the couple's secret box to fight them, but they're ineffective. Brodie grabs the chainsaw in the garage, but he trips on the carpet and Uncle Albert drags Zach into the bedroom. Aunt Mary holds Brodie down and pushes his face toward the chainsaw on the floor. In the bedroom, Uncle Albert pins Zack to the wall. Zack reaches for an unconventional weapon and uses it to smash the demon's head. In the living room, Zack bursts out of the bedroom, briefly distracting Aunt Mary. Brodie grabs the chainsaw and slices the demon's stomach open. The demon gets a hold of Brodie's hand and gets scratched. Brodie pushes the demon away and sees its intestines spill out. The demon pounces on him and tries to bite him. He's able to reach 2 unconventional weapons and bury them on both sides of the demon's skull. Brodie and Zack hear the doorknob rattling, and David enters in utter disbelief of the carnage. Brodie chops his head off with a chainsaw despite knowing he isn't possessed. Minutes later, Brodie goes to get his guitar when a gust of wind takes the pages out the window. He runs to get Zack, who tells him they'll need better weapons. In the garage, they fashion weapons by taping together whatever they can use. They drive around town, fighting off demons while collecting the pages one by one. They follow the last page to the school, where they reunite with their friends. Brodie tells them he didn't see the note they left. A few minutes later, Medina sees the scratch wound on Brodie's hand and tends to it. Brodie sees Zack's jacket inside Medina's bag and asks her when she got it. Medina tells him Zack lent her the jacket when he stopped by the park to tell her Brodie wasn't interested in her. Brodie tells her that he never got the note. Brodie asks her if anything happened with her and Zack, and the expression on her face tells him that something did happen. Brodie confronts Zack, and he answers that this happened because of Brodie's insecurity. They get into a fight with Zack, ending on top of Brodie, pummeling him. He tells Brodie that he never liked him and leaves the group. Zack is in his car, driving recklessly while drinking from his flask. Back at the school, the 4 friends try to figure out a way to play the Black Hymn. They'll need speakers to amplify the music, just like when the town first got possessed. Brodie remembers the amplifiers in Ricky's house and tells them that's where they need to go. At Ricky's house, they're surrounded by the occultists who got there first. Shanna demands they give her the Black Hymn and threatens to hurt Medina. Brodie gives the pages to Shanna, who tears them up. He orders her men to tie them up in the bedroom as a living offer to Aloth. Shanna tells Brodie he failed at his only chance at power and fortune. In the bedroom, the 4 friends are tied up on the floor. In the studio, the occultists kneel on the floor and chant in Latin. In the bedroom, Brodie tells Medina that he didn't mean for any of this to happen and only did so because he felt powerless. Medina tells him he isn't powerless and can still stop this. Suddenly, they hear thudding noises from a box. A possessed Ricky pops out, and the friends scream as they squirm away. Ricky is about to attack Dion when Zack, in black and white makeup, saves him by swinging a hammer to stop the demon. Zack unties everyone and says he can't leave them behind. They hatch a plan to retrieve Brodie's guitar, and he'll try to play the hymn in reverse. As the occultists continue chanting, Zack pops into the room holding 2 chainsaws and takes them down. Then, Brodie, Medina, and Giles start setting up the instruments and the amplifiers. Zack gets pulled through a window by demons who are coming into the house. In another part of the house, Dion, who got separated from the group, gets his head and spine ripped off by a demon. Back in the studio, Giles' arm is torn off by Byron. Then Brodie uses the power drill taped to his guitar to take Byron out. Outside, Zack jumps on a tire and spins in the air, holding 2 chainsaws and taking out multiple demons. Back in the studio, a minute before 3 a.m., Brodie attempts to play the Black Hymn in reverse, while Medina keeps the demons away. Zack joins them and chops Terry limb by limb. 3 a.m. arrives, and a loud, shrieking noise discombobulates the 3 remaining heroes. Shanna disrobes and calls for Aloth to use her as a vessel. Electricity courses up and down her body before Zack stabs her with a sword. The electricity enters Zack's eyes, fusing him with Aloth. Aloth throws Brodie and Medina to the floor. Brodie tells Medina to run as Aloth walks toward him. Aloth stabs him in the stomach with his horn. Then he picks Medina up and is about to swing an axe at her, but Brodie improvises an epic guitar solo. It works because the metal music brings Zack back to the surface, holding Aloth down inside him, albeit temporarily. Aloth is too powerful to hold down for long. Zack tells Brodie to finish him and send Aloth back to where he came from. Brodie refuses, but Zack tells him it's the only way. Brodie takes his razor blade necklace and sets Zack free, banishing Aloth. 2 months later, Brodie and Medina are in Uncle Albert's house. Medina is now a metalhead and has the tattoo Brodie designed on her arm. She kisses Brodie goodbye and leaves his room. A few seconds later, a demonic voice plays from a record, telling Brodie that it isn't over. It turns out it's just Zack messing with Brodie.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Turn on notifications. And leave a like, it really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching.